China, Xi Jinping has a chokehold on the United States. And Xi Jinping played the longer game, icy cold, made it clear. The United States, frankly, blinked here, and we all need to understand what that means.
Welcome to the Friday Focus podcast on the eve, we hope, of a World Series victory for Canada. I'm Rudyard Griffiths, chair of the Munk Debates, joined in studio by baseball super fan Janice Gross-Stein, founding director of the Munk School of Global Affairs. Janice, how many years have you been going to watch the Blue Jays?
It's actively, it's at least 20.
Yeah.
And I would like to sidetrack our whole plan for the show and talk about how John Schneider's management skills are a metaphor for the world, but I don't expect you to let me do it.
Well, let's maybe in next week's episode, if we win, we'll give him the kudos for having management skills that the rest of the world could.
You know that if we win is a big if,
yeah,
folks. So everybody has to send positive vibes for tonight.
So let's have a prediction from you as someone who's watched this team very carefully. They had a horrible season last year. Friends of mine were so frustrated they were handing in their tickets.
I got one of those season's tickets.
Yeah. Well, tell us, do you think they take it tonight, or is it going to go to a seventh game?
I think we're in for a nail-biter seventh game, and those seventh games are near-death experiences for everybody, including the Rabbit fans like me.
Janice, this is amazing. I wish you the best. I am a complete fair weather friend when it comes to baseball, but I will be, there in the final innings, hopefully cheering us on. It'd be so satisfying to beat the Americans at their national pastime at this moment. Talking about big events, Janice, I just want to spend a moment with you in the community talking about the Munk Debate that we've announced, the mainstage Munk Debate for December 3rd. We've gone and done it. It's taken us 17 years. We've thought about this debate topic for a long time. We've always resisted it. But we felt, Janice, that now was the time to have a debate about a two-state solution in light of the shaky ceasefire that is underway right now in Gaza. How important is it to have this debate, to start talking, in this case, amongst some of the most prominent Israeli public figures about Israel's, frankly, willingness to contemplate a two-state solution?
I think it's really important, Rudyard, its willingness, its capacity, because we are dealing with repetitive cycles of warfare. This is not, the last 2 years have been a nightmare, but this is a decades-old problem. There has to be a political solution for the Palestinian people. There are different ways to think about it, but this cycle of violence will continue until there is a political answer for Palestinians. This debate just tackles that one head on, and there will be an election in Israel. I think this debate will happen there too.
Let's go through the speakers. For those of you watching online, bring them up on screen here. We have Ehud Olmert. Let's begin with him, former Prime Minister of Israel. He's arguing on the pro side of our resolution, be it resolved, it's in Israel's national interest to support a two-state solution. Who is Ehud Olmert, and why should we be listening to him at this time?
He's, I think you just said it in your introduction, a former prime minister who I think came closest of any leader in Israel. The differences between what he put on the table and what the Palestinians at that time would accept were small. He was undone not by Arab-Israeli politics. He was undone because there were corruption charges against him. He was convicted, so he was weak. He couldn't mobilize the coalition. And unfortunately, this is an ongoing story, and that's why not only willingness, but as somebody who's an expert in domestic politics, you have to have the capacity to get it over the line, and he did not.
Let's keep looking at on the pro side. So the speaker's arguing in favor of our motion that, again, it's in Israel's national interest, and we'll define that on the debate stage on December 3rd, to support a two-state solution. Tzipi Livni, who is she, and why is she, when it comes to female politicians, arguably one of the most influential and I would say beloved amongst a large section of the Israeli public?
She's a force of nature. Tzipi Livni, she really is. Former foreign minister, long career in politics. And boy, Rudyard, it helps to be a savvy politician. She's able to put it together to build the political support for what she needs. Her party is now reduced to a much smaller part. I mean, it's amazing what's happened, how far the fulcrum has moved to the right in Israel after 2 years of war. That's what you would expect, but still. So it's important to have her voice, and I honestly think this is an opportunity for her to make her case as Israel moves into an election which in many ways will be the most important it's ever held.
Let's go to our con debaters. So these are the two that we've paired up who will be arguing against the motion, saying it's not in Israel's interest, national interest at this moment, or maybe full stop ever, to have a two-state solution. Ayelet, she is a young, dynamic, some people would say part of the future of right-wing politics in Israel. Many of us here, probably not our cup of tea in terms of maybe a little on the, not simply the Likud part of the party, but someone who has, in her role as interior minister, been part of this view of an expansionary role for the state of Israel in the West Bank and an aggressive stance on the war in Gaza.
You got it exactly right, Rudyard. Ayelet chokehold, and it's very interesting, really. You're absolutely right that as Interior Ministry, she moved the party to the right. In many ways, the West Bank is a neglected subject in all of this. It's a flashpoint, really. And
there's some controversial resolutions going through the Knesset right now. They're moving forward on votes to annex the West Bank, portions of it, despite J.D. Vance and President Donald Trump saying, no, absolutely not.
First of all, those resolutions can pass, but the prime minister's walked away from them. So that matters in the context here because it would be suicide. I mean, this is one issue in which Donald Trump has stared Netanyahu in the face, narrowed his eyes, and said, forget it. This is not happening. It's the first time, really, that a president has faced down a prime minister. She is one of the foremost proponents of annexation. And one of the points, Rudyard, there's been a series of violations against the rights of Palestinian inhabitants, by settlers. Ayelet looks the other way when this happens. She believes that any kind of Palestinian state on the West Bank would be a mortal threat, and for her, it's a never answer. And I think we'll hear that during the debate. Interesting. Why is she interesting? In a way, she foreshadows what's happening in the right wing in American politics. She's part of the high-tech economy, right? And you and I would both acknowledge that these communities that where some of the high-tech economy in Silicon Valley is fused with the MAGA movement in ways that are really changing the fulcrum of American politics. You're going to see that in the debate, and you're the moderator, so go after that one, Richard.
I will. I'd love to do that. Our final debater is someone who I've turned to as a writer and a historian over many years. He's written some important books about Israel, about Six-Day War was my introduction to Micheal Oren. He has also, though, had a prominent career in Israeli public life, and he'll be joining the con side of the debate to argue against a two-state solution as being in the interest of Israel. Who is Micheal Oren?
So I knew him first, as you did, as a scholar. And he did a lot of really great work in the archives as the wonky side of me, when you go after the documents and you really get the record straight. And Micheal was very good. Became ambassador to the UN, so entered public life. And from the moment he entered public life, Micheal began to move to the right. So the Micheal Oren, the historian, is not the same Micheal Oren that you're going to get. And he's less ideological than Ayelet Chokehold is in this debate. He just believes the evidence is overwhelming. That withdrawal clears the space for those who are determined to destroy the state of Israel. One of the things we don't talk about, Rudyard, is that Hamas, because there was a withdrawal from Gaza in 2005, from the territory of Gaza, Hamas the goal of Hamas is not only or even an independent Palestinian state, it's an independent Islamic state in all the territory of mandated Palestine. And when people like Micheal Oren see where we are almost 20 years after the withdrawal, I think it's that drives his arguments. So there's huge gaps here on the stage at this debate.
Yeah, former also ambassador to the United States, a senior deputy minister in one of Benjamin Netanyahu's previous governments. Let's just wrap up by the focus of this debate. So we made a very conscious decision to have four prominent Israelis. And some people, and what your response is, some people might say, well, where are the Palestinians? You're debating a two-state solution, and there are no Palestinian voices on the stage. And I think I want to be clear as the chair of the debates, along with Ricky Gurwitz, our managing director who put this debate together, that our theory of the case was that before we can even enter into negotiations, hopefully at some point between duly and democratically elected Palestinian government officials and officials of the state of Israel, Israel itself needs to figure out if, when, how, where a Palestinian state could and should exist, and that is the debate in a sense that has to happen now. It's a prequel to that larger conversation. What do you feel about that framing? And give us your honest assessment. I mean, this is an issue that you spent a lot of your career engaged with.
So, look, I think you're absolutely right to identify this as a debate that must happen in Israel. The debate is probably inside Israel. That debate will be what would not threaten the security of Israel. And there's a huge range in how people define security, frankly, and I think that's a really important point. Is there any political solution for Palestinians which gives Palestinians the rights that they, like any other people, have? Is there any solution that would not threaten the existence of Israel? There's a parallel debate that Palestinians are having. There's a broad range of opinion inside communities in Palestine about what the future should look like. Is it a one-state solution, a secular democratic state? Is it an Islamic state? Is it a two-state solution? Now, given the condition in which Palestinians now find themselves, no possibility of debate really on the West Bank, given an authority, the Palestine Authority, that hasn't had an election since 2006. We're coming on 20 years. So getting those voices out, and in Gaza, of course, there's such a focus on survival right now. Tough to have that debate, but that debate has to take place inside both communities.
Yeah. And just finally, Janice, what do you think it means that in Canada, in Toronto, we're going to have this debate and we're going to assemble these four very prominent Israeli figures. I'd be curious to your thoughts. Could this debate happen in Israel now? Maybe. I do feel that it is the Munk Debate's mission to take on difficult debates. We are not here to have debates on easy subjects. And I think in this case, particularly myself and Ricky Gurwitz, our managing director, we're committed to trying to have, hopefully, a debate that moves the conversation forward in whatever direction it's going to go. The Munk Debates is anti-stasis. We want, the public square to be dynamic, to be a place where ideas are debated, and hopefully something comes of all that. What do you think could come out of a debate like this, where you have these very high-profile figures in Israel who have come to Canada, like so many Americans before in the history of our series, have come to Toronto and come to Canada to have debates, frankly, that they can't have in their own country?
Yeah, I hope that this debate echoes back into the public square inside Israel, where this topic is so hot, so conflict in domestic politics, so exacerbating. And I think that the 4 debaters that you've assembled will be well aware that an election is coming inside Israel. Yeah. And yes, the venue is the Munk Debates, and the Munk Debates created that platform, but the audience is 7,000 kilometers away.
Yeah. Talking about audiences, tickets for this debate will go on sale early next week. If you are a Munk Debate donor at the supporter or curator level, you're going to get an advanced selection from the best seats in the house. If you're not a supporter or curator, head over to our website, www.munkdebates.com, and grab a membership and a charitable receipt now. This debate, like all of our debates, I think is going to sell out quickly, given the urgency of the topic and the quality of the people participating. And we just welcome people to be part of our community, get together in person in downtown Toronto to have this debate in service of the cause of debate and in service, hopefully, of moving this really important conversation on a 2-state solution going forward. So, Janice, thank you so much for all your help these past months, advising Ricky and me personally on how to think about these issues. Your wisdom and knowledge has really been informing our process, and I think it's culminated in just what I hope for the Munk Debates, which is that world-class standard of the best names on either side with credentials, people both who have been in the political arena, have sharpened their minds and pens with serious academic insight and rigor, and who, in the case of Ehud Olmert, have summited the Israeli political system as prime minister. Any final words about the debate?
Circle the date in your calendar.
December 3rd.
I've done it in mine.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's say goodbye to our complimentary listeners and viewers. We're going to take a quick break and then join our Munk donors on the other side to talk a little bit about China, what happened this week at the big summits in Asia, both with Canada and the United States, and talk about a live stream that Janice and I will be doing both in person and on the web with hot docs coming up on the 7th of November.
A week away.
Public version of this show next week will be at the Hot Dog Cinema on Bloor Street, and we'll share some more information on our website right now. Show description, go check it out. Or become a donor and join us for the follow-on conversation, and we'll give you some more information. Thank you. Back to you in a moment.